Hey guys, welcome to Gearheads.
Today we're putting new wheels on my car and we're going to show you how to put new wheel studs in.
Woo!
Well, I got new wheels for my car and new tires mounted up and I'm ready to put them on the car. But another thing that we have to do when we do that, it's common with a lot of Miatas and other small cars, the lugs are too short and you won't be able to get your lug nuts on far enough with enough threads. You might risk a wheel falling off, you might risk breaking a lug or something like that. So anyways, I have some extended lugs that I gotten from my old car and we're going to show you how to install those, and hopefully my car looks awesome with these new wheels and drives better with these tires because my old ones were garbage. I got new parts!
Yay, what'd you get?
A radiator and an intercooler, and then I also got seat mounts back there for the seat that's going to be coming in the car soon. Check out the wheels I got. So I had Koenig dial-ins before on the old car, but they were all sold out in the color I wanted. So this time I got some Advanti Racing Storms, the Storm S1s. I'm trying a new tire that I haven't used before as well. It is a Nitto. Here, check it out. One thing I did want to tell you guys was when you go to pick out your tires, definitely do a lot of research. A lot of people skimp out and want to cheap out on tires and not get something good, when the truth is the only part of the car touching the road when you're driving is the tire. So it's not somewhere you want to just cheap out or get something crappy. If you live somewhere like we do in California, where there's sunny weather and not a lot of rain, it's a lot of fun if you can get some summer tires like this that you can actually drive and have fun with every day versus all seasons. Obviously, if you live somewhere with snow, then you have to take that into consideration as well. But these are Nitto NTO5s, and I haven't tried them out yet, so this will be my first time using these tires. My first set of slick tires I ever had were the Nitto NTO1s, and those things are freaking awesome, but they're also like 150 bucks a tire, and I'm on a budget since I'm rebuilding the car here. And these things were only 80 bucks a tire, and it fits the 15x8 wheels fine, so we'll see how they do. Before, the last tires I had on there were the Federal RSRs and the 595s, and those things are awesome too for the price. Those are only like $72 a tire. So anyways, those are a couple, I mean, these ones are supposed to be good, and those Federals are a really good price as well. So if you want to get something nice and something that performs well, but you want to do it on a little bit of a budget, then check those out. When you're pulling your wheels off your car, it's a lot easier if you break them loose before you lift the car up, but we have an air gun that we're going to use, so we don't have to worry about that. You're gonna want to take a C-clamp before you take your caliper off and squeeze the pads a little bit just to loosen them up on there so that you can slide the calipers on and off easily after you remove them. Yeah, sure. Now take off your brake caliper. You're gonna want a size 14 socket, and you might want an extension, even though Matt's clearly not using one. And there's one on the top and on the bottom on the back side of your brakes. Awesome. All right. If you're putting new studs on your car, you're gonna need a sledgehammer for this part. You gotta knock the old studs right out the side, and then you're gonna just rotate this thing around, and when they come out the back, they'll clear on this side of the back of the caliper here. So go ahead and show them that. Done.
Boom.
Bingo. When you're putting the new studs in your car, there is one problem that you might have. When you go to sink it through and pull it through the hub, you need to get it all the way through. And the problem you're gonna have is it's really difficult to get a hammer back here and just keep hitting it to try and get it through. And if you do that, a lot of times it won't come through straight. So the best thing for me in the past to do has been to actually put something here. I used an old, let's see, these are stuck together now, but I used an old, just an old big nut, and I sacrificed an extra old lug that I had, and put it on here like this, and that gives you enough space so that you can suck this thing through. And the reason you need something like this on here, you could use a short wide socket, or you could use a little piece of pipe or something that's thick that won't crush. Anyways, this works for me, but you want to be able to suck it through, but once you get all the way down here, there's no more threads, and you won't be able to get it all the way. It'll stop short. So what you need to do is slide this thing through, get something like this on there, and get it all the way down. And then preferably, if you have an air hammer like we're using, then you can go ahead and just sink it down and look on the back until it's set in all the way. If you don't have an air hammer, you're gonna have to use a mix of maybe hitting it in from the back with a hammer a bit, and then just doing it by hand and turning, which you can do, but it's difficult just because it'll want to spin the hub, and then it makes it hard to torque it. But I can show you a way to hold it if you want. If you don't have an air gun and you want to get these things set in by hand, this is how I had done it before when I did not have an air gun. You're gonna have a socket wrench on here, but go ahead and get your socket on there and get it to where you're gonna turn it. All right, it might not be the best way to do it, but this is the way I've done it before. If you need to get some leverage, you can stick a pry bar or something long through here just to keep it from spinning while you go ahead and tighten down on this here with your hand ratchet. And that works. It will pull the lug through. It's just more difficult. By any chance you do have access to air gun, or even if it's a good strong electric impact, then just use it, because it's so much easier to do it this way. You can just pull it straight through. There we go. Now that one's in all the way. And then just take this back off. After you slide your rotors back in, start putting on your calipers again. Now you're ready to put your wheels back on. If you ever want to use an air gun to put your lugs back on, make sure you're careful and you don't use it on the highest setting. I know this gun, I've been using it for a while now, so I know how tight it's going to be. But it might be a good idea just to get them sunk in where it's tight, and then finally tighten them by hand when they're on the ground. Because the problem is, if you put one of these on high power and you go and put these on, if you do it too tight, you can warp your rotor, and you don't want to do that. Hi, Thor.
Oh my goodness.
You don't jump out like that. My wife is here. The boss is here. Hi, buddy. Did you miss me?
Hi, Senna.
I'm about to finish my...
She did it too. I love you. Bye. I love you. All right, back to work. We can go take your back caliper off. There's going to be 3 bolts you need to take out, and they're all size 14. 2 are going to be for the caliper bracket itself to pull that off, and the third one is for the caliper adjuster. On a lot of brakes, you use a C-clamp just to squeeze the brake pads in to set for the new ones. On the Miatas, on the rears, because of the e-brake system back there, there's a bolt in the middle on the opposite side of the piston back here. It's a number 14, and you take that out, and then you'll need a number 4 Allen wrench. And you twist that, and it's actually opposites on each side of the car. It's not just clockwise or not. It's like spinning it forwards, I believe, loosens it, and back tightens. It might be backwards, but you'll be able to figure it out once you put it in there. I'll tell you when I get to that point. But anyways, let's go ahead and take this thing apart. This bolt right here is the one, that guy right there. It's exactly behind the caliper piston. So you just want to crack that thing loose. Usually just cracking it's good enough, and then you can get the rest with your fingers. Let's see here. And then let's find out whether it's forward or back to tighten up or loosen up the piston. Come on. It looks like when you spin it forward is when it tightens it, because right now I can't spin it at all. But if I go ahead and just go back a half a turn or a full turn, it loosens up this so I can turn it. So anyways, what you want to do is just go ahead and go in here and turn it back a few times just to pull the caliper piston back so that you don't have any problem slipping the brake pads off. All right, now let's just take off the caliper bolts. If your rotors are seized on by a bit of rust like this one is, it helps to just give it a little bang to loosen it up. There we go. Just go in a circle and hit it a few times and usually it'll pop loose. There we go. And then removal of the studs is pretty much the same on the back as the front, except for you have one problem. On the back, this shield comes around and it does cut away and open up here, but there's a lip right here, and that lip kind of gets in the way of the head of the back of the stud. So on my old car, that thing just got hammered in, and it gives you enough space to get by it almost. You're not really hurting anything by hammering that in, so it's just going to give you enough room there to pull that lug through. And there's one more problem that you'll have when you put the extended studs in, but I'll show you what that is and how to deal with it after this. Now that all your old studs are out of the car, go ahead and get your new ones ready. There is one more problem you'll probably run into. So when you go to put your new studs in here, you're gonna find that you're trying to slide through, but the back of the stud here wants to hit on this piece back here. There's a couple ways around that. The way I found around it is to shave this. Do you see it on the camera? Mm-hmm. All right, so on the front ones, they're all just perfectly rounded. Just shave down the lip here, just to where it's kind of even with the rest of the bolt. And the best way to do that is if you have a bench grinder, if you have access to a bench grinder, just go up and just slowly grind it down until it's flat, and that should clear you enough room to get by. If you don't have a bench grinder, then hopefully you have a lot of patience and a good file. All right, so when you go to put it in, just get that flat side and turn the flat side towards that, and it should give you enough room to clear here, and boom, there you go. From here, now that you got your studs started back in, it's just the same as the front. So just go ahead and get your tools back on here, and if you have access to one, your air gun, and hammer away. Now go ahead and put it back together, just the same way you took it apart, except for there will be one thing to pay attention to. Go ahead and get your caliper back mounted up with those two bolts again, and then I will show you, you'll have to mess with the adjuster on the back one more time, and you just want to make sure you get that right so that you don't cook your brakes or have them rattling from being too loose. Once you got your caliper back on, you're almost done. You just got to take your number 4 Allen wrench and put it back into that hole in the back. Let's see here, let me find it real quick. And then you're gonna wanna turn it forward, and here's what you wanna do. This is how you measure it. So right now, obviously I can spin it back and forth and I can wiggle it. So go ahead and turn it back forward a few times. And then it should start getting, you can see the rotor tightening up there, moving up. Okay, let's see here. I can still move it, and if I go, oh, see, okay. I just turned it farther, and now I cannot spin it with my hands. Once you get to that point, you want to go ahead and turn the Allen wrench a whole half turn back, and that is about where it should be. And that gives you that's how you set your rear brakes so that they're at the right distance. And then there you go, and I can move it again. So a half turn is what you want there. All right, now we can go ahead and put our wheel back on and put the car back on the ground, and we can go take it for a test drive and see how these tires are. Go. Let's put the car down. I'll go ahead and check all the lugs real quick by hand and go for a drive. All right, dude. Visible it is, but we're taking the car for a test drive on the new tires now, and I actually like them a lot so far. I like them better than the Federals. The turn-in response is a lot quicker, like it's a lot more darty. I kind of missed that when I got the Federals. They're still grippy and they perform well, but the sidewalls were too soft. The sidewalls on this thing are nice. They're like pretty stiff, comparatively at least. Of course, anything's gonna feel amazing after that really crappy, like Braveris or whatever tire I was on before. But they ride good. Yikes! Yeah, you get in alignment. Put the coilovers on the car whenever I get them, and lower it a bit. Yeah, I'll probably doing new fenders too. So shouldn't rub. Woo, dead bunny. Definitely can't wait to get the 1.8 swapped in and then do the turbo though, because the power is just ugh. I mean, I was used to it when I used to drive a stock car for a while, but I spent all that time and finally had the turbo one and got used to driving it, and now there's nothing. These brakes kind of suck. Doing that soon too. Big brake upgrade. Well, I like my new tires. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We had a lot of fun tonight and we're glad you're following along.
I'm so glad we got the wheels done. The car's finally starting at least one small step at a time to look better. But thank you for watching again, like Matt said, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and keep wrenching!